Caribou, weather due to YouTube channel, everybody. Welcome, welcome back to the show. I am Joe Only, up here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,135 feet above sea level. We're going to look at avalanche conditions in British Columbia, of course. We got not that much precip in the overall situation. Like, we're not seeing tremendously large avalanches, but we are seeing a fair bit of activity and having a fair number of incidents so far this year, in which a few of them have resulted in people getting hurt. Today we're going to look at avalanche conditions in British Columbia and some of the incidents going on here. Welcome to the show. Let's go. There it is.
This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Become a Patreon member or a channel member. Do what you can. Thanks to people who do leave donations, such as Gwendolyn and Maria. Thank you once again for helping keep this channel going. Views have been down across the board, and it's been scary at times, yet because of people like you, revenue hasn't really changed much. So it's you're keeping me going here on the channel and helping me continue to make content, helping pay for new software that I've invested in and things like that. Always trying to improve around here. So let's have a look right now at avalanche conditions. I will remove my face from the equation. Look at avalanche conditions. So we do have had lots of precip up in the north coast, where there's been a storm hitting up there, lots of rainfall up there, lots of snow in the high country. So right now instabilities are still present. They have produced large recent avalanches there. So scratch what I said earlier, at least for the northwest. They have had large avalanches observed there. Another 30 centimeters has landed just north of that, north of Kitsault in the mountains there. 30 centimeters of snow. Strong winds have been driving the avalanche danger, so that's deep instabilities are present and resulted in avalanches. I mean, meanwhile, you got a large section of the south is considered green conditions without a whole lot of prospect of that changing anytime soon. So our snowpack is down. I mean, it's better than it was last year. Here in the Caribou Mountains, we got a little bit of snow. There's considerable danger, they're saying. Well, this is just south of us, this South Caribou, I should say, and the Columbias. But not all wind slabs are created equal, it says. Many recent avalanche reports point to a failure of surface core that keeps slabs reacting to human triggering for longer periods than you might expect. So you end up thinking you're in the clear, but in reality, you're not. So up here in, Caribou Mountains and then reaching up towards Pine Pass, seek out sheltered snow to steer clear of the next round of wind slab formation. Older, deeper wind slabs may remain reactive at higher elevations where the new crust hasn't locked them down. And I do find myself frustrated by how the site itself functions often, so you'll forgive me if I get annoyed in trying to use it. But what I absolutely do love is their forecasters. They don't like to even use their real names, but they always have great forecasters. They know what's up here. Always check Avalanche Canada's forecast if you plan to be doing things in the mountains. So they've had heavy snow over the northwest ranges, and that continues into tomorrow with the next system. Southern BC is being shielded by a ridge of high pressure. No snow has been happening down there, really. Snow has been confined to northern BC mountain ranges, at least till the end of Wednesday, when we might see a bit of a change here. Freezing levels remain elevated over the south coast until Thursday morning. It's quite warm down there. Let's see, how are things moving with this brand new storm that is... So there's that guy lashes in, okay, and then hose comes right back up and a new system develops. Boom, that hits northern BC pretty good. The tail of it may produce a little bit of flurries in Thursday through southern interior, maybe a little bit in the Caribou Mountains, but I'm not seeing a large snow event, no, and I've been calling that not large, and you can see how the high pressure's taking over. That'll make things cold. That will have impacts on our avalanche stability. The fact that we don't have new snow on top of things certainly is an issue. So you will see a bit of a warm band pass through. Heavy snow along that trough there on Wednesday. That should be mostly north of Prince George. That will keep things still really clear in southern BC, it seems to appear. So on the morning in BC coast, funnel system will affect northern BC. Heavy snow there is strong to extreme southwesterly ridgetop winds. Partly cloudy skies, freezing level around 2,500 meters to 3,500 meters for the southwest ranges. The interior seeing light, maybe moderate snow and ridgetop winds for North Rockies and Caribou ranges on Wednesday. Strong westerly gap winds for the South Rockies, however. And Yukon Klondike, sunny breaks through the cloud in the morning with increasing high cloud in the afternoon. I have a low pressure system approaching the Alaska Panhandle. Light snow possible later Wednesday and Wednesday night, but some uncertainty about the track of the low. So here we are looking at incidents, number of incidents so far, and we're going to go, well, it actually says Monday, we're going to go to the 1st, and we're going to look at all these incidents we have so far. We got wind slab, Cornus Failure, 10 keel area avalanche, Mory's bowl, Spook, 2.5 skier accidental, don't worry, cool air, reactive wind slab on SH, Tabernacle bowl slides. This is all so far this year. Skier accidental, 1.5 slides. Hazard exists. We have looked at these two already, so I think we can scratch them off. But there's going to be a trend that we see here in these. We'll look at this first one here that happened on Sunday, January 12th. With a shallow trigger. Shallow trigger, you're going to see that a lot. We explored towards Stadium Glacier, but we gained elevation on the Skypilot co-pilot Cole. We encountered wind-affected snow and some upside-down snowpack characteristics. There was a soft layer, the top 5 to 10 centimeters, then a much firmer layer, 20 centimeters below that, then a soft layer, 10 centimeters in thickness, then a very firm layer below that. So a bunch of different kinds of layers. After experiencing a point release in that top 5 to 10 centimeters that ran 20 to 20 vertical meters, we rerouted shoulders. So I don't see an actual incident here, I guess. We triggered a size 1 or smaller wind slab, so I guess they did. They triggered it, so there's no one transported, no one injured. So that's good. Cornus Failure, also from Sunday, January 12th, just off of Highway 1, just off Rogers Pass there. Looks like on Mount Sefton. 2 people in the group. 2 people not injured. 2 were caught, but not buried. So 2 people involved. They triggered a cornice where a second member approached. There was no injuries. We followed 2 tracks that went through the cornice. This is a good reminder that tracks are not a sign of stability. Good point, right? So just because someone went there before doesn't mean that you're going to have better luck than they did. And look at that cornice. That could have been, even though we're seeing avalanches that, and all these cases aren't lethal, we're not seeing large avalanches that seem to be burying people. They are still effectively happening, and this is something you do have to be aware of out there when you're traveling and playing in the mountains and doing things. That be aware that we've had a Cornus Failure here that killed a captain of the Horsefly Fire Department not that many years ago. He was standing on the edge and the thing let go, and down he friggin' went. So that is the kind of thing we're concerned about. Click on these things. So from Saturday, 2 people in Mory's Spook Bowl here. And then where is Mory's Spook Bowl? It's actually part of just off a Kicking Horse Resort. So it looks like it's a backcountry part of Kicking Horse. So 1 person involved. Skier heard a whoomph, then triggered a size 1. Poked a hole in the slope higher in the avalanche path and decided to avoid it. Avalanche was triggered lower in the path, so we got a little bit lucky there. We have a couple photos here that help us see. So skier triggered avalanche coming into Mory's Bowl at the bottom of a chute. Look at that. That's still a lot of snow, man. If you happen to be unlucky and be underneath that, that could still be a lethal situation. So again, we're not seeing incredible avalanche conditions in most of BC, and we're not seeing snowpack to justify a great amount of concerns. But what concerns me is that what happens is, when you have these conditions that aren't so scary, that people say, oh, the conditions aren't that scary, and go and take greater risks, right? And maybe do things without having more testing, more reconnaissance, more scouting, more pre-planning, more thought, being bolder and taking chances that they might not normally want to take. So that's my concern, that the perception that we have better avalanche conditions may lead to someone making a mistake that is preventable. So this is a skier coming into Mory's Bowl. On Mount McLeod, 3 people in the group. 1 person was partly buried but had normal breathing. There was 2 people actually involved. And here we have terrain traps, cliff, gully depression, slope transition, or bench, trees. And so red X marks the spot up here where skier triggered the avalanche. So you can see at the very top, that's a large slope, and it looks like a fair amount of snow went there. So that is somewhat concerning. There's that X up there again. Closer photo of the crown near the start zone. So again, it's a pretty big looking slab that if you were unlucky enough, that would be the last thing you ever did. So just near where that avalanche was at Mory's Bowl, I thought this was a different incident because there's been something in this area already this year reported. That was last year, I should say, this season. So out in Terminator 2 Peak, once again, 3 people in the group, and Golden Search and Rescue response was outside the KHMR boundary. Subject was carried 500 meters through small trees and over a cliff band and sustained multiple injuries. Oh my God, that's terrifying. I hope you're okay if you see this. And I hope that other people learn from the suffering that you are now undergoing, not to take risks. Since look at this chute, that is a deadly chute. And again, we are complacent because we're not seeing the large scale avalanches that we've had many years in British Columbia. There's mountain terrain, and any amount of snow on it could slide. Hey, I've seen avalanches in August in the Rocky Mountains. I have, with my own eyes. In fact, one of the only avalanches I've ever actually witnessed was in August. So this one's kind of funny here. Don't worry, cool air. Doesn't say anything. I think that you should be forced to say something if you list it as an incident report. Okay, so this one, that's pretty far back there in the Joffrey group, but I don't know. I've been up this valley before. No, I haven't actually. I've been up these guys here, I should say, up to Gott Peak. So scratch that. So we're looking at these guys from the Joffrey group. Now, I've a number of times, I've got photos actually somewhere of myself standing. I've climbed this whole ridge peak here over top of Duffy. I've been up into here over to Melvin Lake. Not to the lake itself, but standing right over top of it. There's another little tiny lake down here I went to. I spent my camp at. I probably should have gone up to Melvin. That was my goal at the time, but then I thought I had an extra day and the weather was closing in, so I went back down to my buddy's camp. But anyways, I've spent a lot of time in this stretch of mountains personally, and I love that view towards Joffrey from standing on top of the mountain peaks there. Okay, the wind has been active in the Keith's Hut area the past 2 days. This was, of course, a little while ago. Just to remind you, this is on the 8th of January this one was made. Creative reactive wind slabs primed for human triggering on northeast aspect at 2L and ELP. Triggered four size 1 avalanches today, 2 being intentional and 2 being accidental. 1 natural size 1.5 also occurred. These slides had surprising propagation and reactivity because they failed them up to 8 millimeters. 1 slide was triggered 20 to 25 degree terrain where we had felt very safe. Slides were 20 to 25 centimeters deep, so not very deep slides. We covered a fair bit of terrain today, skiing the lower slopes of Motel 66 and the Vantage Call area. It looks like they had a pretty wild, awesome time. And look at some of the images they got here for us of these slabs. So again, those aren't very deep avalanches. So I mean, you may get lucky, but if something like that lets go and forces you into a bunch of trees, you could find yourself broken limbs and whatnot too, even if you don't find yourself buried. What do you get smashed off a giant rock as you're out of control, being swept up in an avalanche, and oh my God, you're in for a bad day. But it looks like they had a really nice time up there in the Cayush. Cayush Creek is what flows down there through the Duffy Lake just past them there, and starts up in the Joffrey group, Cayush Creek does. This one from the Icefields Parkway, reporting on ice conditions in the Icefields Parkway area. So cliff, gully depression, slope transition. So observed from a distance, no human involvement, no incident, but it won't let me remove the information from this section. And I wanted to bring this up because, again, there's another example of just the site being clunky and not functioning right. So we need someone in government who's got the purse strings, get some software developers in on this. Please fix this site up because it's an incredibly important site that saves lives. These forecasters at Avalanche Canada, they save lives, but they reports all the times. And you'll never know how many lives they save because nothing happened. You know, it's like there's nothing to report, so it's easy to think these people don't do anything meaningful. And meanwhile, all that information that gets put out there all the time, all the mountain conditions, all the reporting, all the forecasting, it does help people to have a safer experience out in the mountains. And we would have had a much higher casualty count every year if there wasn't something like Avalanche Canada out there. So these guys are saving lives. Let's get the government funding to give them more. Let's give these guys what they need to be the best possible avalanche reporting service that we could possibly dream of. Okay, hit like, share, subscribe so that I can be the best possible weather forecast guide that you can dream of. Everybody, thank you for the Patreons. Thank you to Maria. Thank you to Gwendolyn. Thank you to people that have been keeping this channel going and keeping me going over the years. A lot of people have contributed and helped build me up to be who I am today, so I appreciate that. At one time, I was just a guy who had quit drinking and didn't know what to do with himself, and I just started talking more and more. Thank you for everyone for helping inspire me to be just that. So play safe out in the mountains, everybody, this week. We'll come at you tomorrow with more weather and wilderness news. I'm Joey, only Caribou Weather Dude. Woohoo!